Well, let's talk a little bit more about the political ramifications of this natural disaster. I'm joined in the studio now by Dr. Michael Ondaatje. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Sydney's US Studies Centre. Michael Ondaatje, thanks very much for coming in again. As we were just hearing, both candidates have suspended their campaigning. Now, just for the benefit of our understanding, can you explain for us why have they done that, given that large areas of the United States remain unaffected by this storm?
Both candidates are determined not to appear to be politicising what is shaping up as a human tragedy. And whilst politics is front and centre for people like me who study it for a living, the human toll is something that both men really want to emphasise in this situation, to be above politics, in other words.
And it is a tricky situation for both men to be confronted by a disaster like this at this stage of the US presidential campaign. Their strategists on both sides of the divide are going to be trying to choose their steps very, very carefully.
Look, it shredded both men's sort of end game to win those key battleground or swing states, and I think it's going to play better for Obama. I say that because Obama has an opportunity to appear presidential, to use the resources of government, to bring about change in areas that have been terribly affected. He can appear, if he handles the crisis well, cool, calm and effective. And I think very importantly, Barack Obama here has an opportunity to shut Mitt Romney out of the media. Mitt Romney has been winning a lot of attention in the media recently. I think he's going to be denied a lot of political oxygen because the big news story in the next few days is going to be about the storm and about the president and about the governors, not Mitt Romney.
Yeah, but of course everyone remembers so well what happened with Hurricane Katrina and how that actually proved to be a negative for the then President George W. Bush.
Yeah, I'm reminded by Machiavelli's comment that every crisis is an opportunity. And George W. Bush handled Hurricane Katrina very badly, very poorly. Barack Obama's challenge will be really to do the opposite of George W. Bush in 2005. As we are speaking, the Obama administration is putting into effect policies to deal with the affected areas. Mitt Romney, again, we saw on that excerpt, is keen to be above the politics of it, but at the same time to remind people that there is an election around the corner, that he is a candidate and that he has a plan for America.
Okay, but how is it likely to play into voting on election day next week? The area being impacted is mainly Democratic states, as I understand it?
It is, and if there are major impacts on transportation systems in these key swing states, that's going to affect the Democratic Party quite badly because it's overwhelmingly Democratic Party supporters who use public transport. On the flip side, if in West Virginia, where there's going to be a blizzard by all accounts, voters are unable to get to the polls, that's going to play in Obama's favour because West Virginia is Mitt Romney heartland. So it's very early, a bit too early to make a call at this point, and we've never had in American history, really, as far as I know, a natural disaster so close to an election as this one.
Some pundits are actually suggesting that the effect of this storm on the election will essentially be zero. The advantages and disadvantages for both sides will end up cancelling each other out.
I think that's possibly correct. Again, very early to tell. I do think, as I said before, that these things tend to play into the hands of the incumbent if he can handle the crisis effectively. That's a big if at the moment. But I think at the moment, for the reasons that you just said, the advantages and disadvantages may cancel themselves out.
Of course, the US election campaign is an extraordinary marathon effort for all those involved. Everybody who wants to seek nomination and those who eventually become the candidates of their parties. We heard Barack Obama's voice getting noticeably hoarse a couple of days ago. No doubt they'll be using this break in the campaign to rest their voices and get themselves energised for what will be that last-minute burst of campaigning once the storm has passed.
Absolutely. This election is on a knife edge and it's going to go right down to the wire. And what we're seeing at the moment in the polls is Mitt Romney leading nationally, but in the key battleground or swing states, Barack Obama is retaining a competitive edge there. And Ohio is shaping as the key state, I think. But I did see some polling numbers before I came into the studio today in Virginia, where Mitt Romney had led up until fairly recently. And I see now that Barack Obama has pulled slightly ahead in Virginia. So there are a lot of unknowns at the moment, and this storm has contributed to that.
The Obama camp does seem to be expressing a lot of confidence at this point in time, though. They seem to be suggesting that the notion that it's neck and neck is overstating Romney's prospects.
They are doing that, and I think both campaigns are trying to promote themselves here. But at the same time, it's a delicate balancing act at the moment with a tragedy, and with neither camp really wanting to politicise it or to be seen politicising it. We're not going to know very much for the next few days. As you say, I think in the last couple of days there'll be some fervent campaigning on both sides, but if people have lost power, they're not going to be able to watch campaign ads, and that's going to have an effect as well.
Well, they might be pleased about that, but look, is it possible for the election itself to be delayed if, for example, there are still massive disruptions in the form of power outages and that sort of thing, which will impact on people's ability to get out and vote?
Look, I don't think this election is going to be delayed. I don't know of any precedent for that. We're not able to be governed by history here. We're looking at something that's unfolding on the ground that is unprecedented. And like I say, at the moment, all eyes will be on the White House. And so long as eyes are on the White House and Barack Obama is handling this situation effectively, this is going to play well for him and poorly for Mitt Romney.
Okay, Dr. Michael Ondaatje, thank you very much for coming in and talking to us here at Afternoon Live.
My pleasure.